I never thought I'll survive this day. Let me tell y'all about the time I broke into an abandoned house. So I was walking through the neighborhood and I was just looking for something to get into. I happened to look over and see this car parked. But you could tell that it was an abandoned house because you could see it had no curtains or anything on the window. And you could just pretty much see through the house that there was nothing in the house. The house looked like a little bit run down, but it was in a good neighborhood. But it was very unkempt. So I saw this blue Nova. I think it was like a police type undercover car. It was pulling out of the driveway. So it sparked my curiosity. As the car pulling off, when it rounded the corner, I walked over there and I was like, I'm going to see what's going on in here. Now, I couldn't see who was in the car because the windows was tinted. I just saw the car pulling out and it leaving. And when it went around the corner, I went and I checked the door. The door was locked, right? So I had a screwdriver on me. I said, okay, I'm gonna get up in here. Pow, pow. Hit that little lock where I can open the door. So once I opened the door, I got inside. I started walking around the house and everything. The house was dirty. It had spider web. The mattresses, they was like dirty, filthy. The stench of piss was in the house. It was just a dilapidated house. Like everything in the house was just not attractive. As I'm walking, I start going through the bedrooms like I would do any other house if I broke into a house. So I looked in one bedroom, mattress flipped over, soda water cans everywhere. So then I go into the master bedroom. Now, when I get in the master bedroom, there's this big dresser drawer. On top of the dresser drawer, it's like somebody had waste soda, but the soda stain had been there for a minute because it was sticky now. But there was 2 quarters stuck in the sticky stuff. I looked at the 2 quarters and for some reason, I took an old pen that was sitting on the dresser and I did like that. And I got the 2 quarters and there was a pillowcase on the bed and a dirty sheet sitting in the corner of the bed. So I took the pillowcase and I wiped the quarters off. And I remember, I said, man, I'm going to put these in my pocket. I might need to make emergency phone calls. Because, you know, phone booths was back then in those days. You can go up to the phone booth and drop that quarter in and make a phone call right quick. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, these quarters might come in handy when I'm running from the cops. You know what I'm saying? As I'm searching through the house, I'm still like kind of over by that big dresser drawer. Something just drawing me over there. So now this dresser drawer real big. Like 3 here, 3 in the middle, 3 here. So I'm going through each one. I'm pulling them out. As I'm pulling them out, I'm seeing newspaper. Then you can see like dead spider webs, dead roach eggs. But I'm steady pulling out the drawers. I get to the last one on the bottom, right? I pull it out and man, let me tell you something. There was so much money in that last drawer. Every bill in there, like 20, 50s, 100, it had a red tip, just a slight red tip at the bottom of each bill. So I'm like, dog, what is this? So I'm taking the money and I'm putting it inside of the pillowcase and I'm dumping it all out. It was so much money, y'all. I'm just grabbing. So I just pulled the dresser drawer out and I was like, bump it. I just took the pillowcase and I like put it on the dresser drawer and just was dumping. So I dumped it all out. I took the pillowcase and I had it in my hand like that. It was full, y'all. It had a lot of money in there. I'm talking about so much money. I don't know where that money had came from. So I got the pillowcase and I got it in my hand and on my back. I'm walking out. As I'm walking out, I could see the reflection of a light like hit the window. Went across my face. So now I'm seeing it's a car turning in the driveway. When the car started pulling up in the driveway, I noticed that it was the same blue car that had just left that I seen go around the corner before I went in the house. So I'm looking, I'm like, dang. So the car done pulled back up now. So I went into, I remember where you keep, it was a place in there, this door where you keep, I guess, you hook up the wash machine or something like that, but it was a hot water tank, a big tank in there. So I went in there and I squeezed up in the little corner, but I still had the money. So I had the money down sitting on the bottom part and I got on top and I was like this in the corner. You could hear talking. So it was like 2 or 3 guys. I don't know what they were saying at first because it was a far away, like voices was faint. But then you start hearing like, bah, bah, doors slamming, bah, then they start cussing like, the F, da, 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 da. And they was mad. You could tell these men was mad. So I'm like, oh, Lord, Jesus, help me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they mad because the men, they just left. So they looking for this money. So you can hear them just slamming doors, slamming doors. So they messed around and they pulled open the door because I had pulled the door back where I was hiding at. They messed around. They snatched the door open, but they never came in and searched. The way I was hiding in the corner, you couldn't tell I was in there. So maybe they didn't think nobody would just get it over there in that area. So they snatched that door open and you heard the door go, bah! So I'm in the corner like this right here. And the guys, you know, I could see them, but they can't see me. So I'm looking like, man, listen, it was 3 white guys, right? And the one that was snatched the door open, you could see that he had his piece right there on the side of him. I'm looking. But the other guy that was walking behind him, he had his in his hand. The third guy, I could see his head. He was still moving through the house because where the hot water machine tank was at, you could see a lot in the house. And he had done opened the door, but he didn't close the door back. So when he walked off, I'm seeing what they doing. So one of the guys, he had drug out a mattress. And when he drug the mattress out, it was one of them zip mattresses. He zipped it. He started zipping and he started pulling stuff out the mattress. So in my mind, you know, the fear done subsided because I'm like, oh, dang, what's in the mattress? So they started, whatever they was pulling out, I never seen it. I didn't see what they was pulling out, but he was pulling out, and they was putting it in like, one guy had these black garbage bags. They were putting the stuff in the black garbage bag, and he took the mattress and he threw it like against the window. And it hit the blinds. And I heard one of the guys say, nah, that EMF ain't get that far. That EMF ain't get that far. We just rounded the corner. They got to be in here hiding somewhere, or they either got to be around the corner. But if we find that EMF in this house, I'm going to blow their EMF head off. And I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus. So I'm in the cut with the money over there by the tank. And I'm hiding. I'm like, Lord, please don't let these men see me. Because I already knew, man, I wasn't going to make it out of there. Them people were going to kill me up in there. I already knew it. They stayed in the house by searching about 30 minutes. And they had the door where I was hiding. They had it wide open. I was petite then. And, you know, you couldn't tell nobody was in that cut like that. I was tucked away good, boy. God had done hid me. You know, God ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just saying. But I was hid good. So they were walking through the house. They were pissed off. They was in the house about 30 minutes just walking around. So I'm popping sweat. I'm praying, Lord Jesus, please help me out of this. I ain't going to do it no more, God. Help me out of this. Help me out of this. Guys, they slanging everything. They pissed off. They mad. They walking through the house. One guy, you know, he had his beer bottle. He had finished drinking and he just threw the beer bottle against the wall. You can hear it shatter. Bah! I'm like, oh my goodness, these guys mad. So after a while, I heard the door go boom, and it went silent. I'm like, okay, let me stay still. Let me stay still. So I stayed there. I stayed in there about 30 more minutes, you know, just popping sweat. Like, Lord, please help me. Please help me. I ain't move. So after about 30 minutes, I ain't hear nothing. I went and I started walking through the house. I left the bag right there. So I went and I kind of eased and peeped out the window. The car was still sitting there. They were sitting out there smoking and just sitting in the car because one of the guys whoever was driving had the window down and you could see the smoke coming out the window. But they was just sitting there like the car wasn't moving. So I'm like, dang, man, I ain't gonna be able to get out of here. So I had to go back and get in that little cut and just sit there. So what I did was, you know, I wound up having to stay in that spot for about a couple more hours because they wasn't moving. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to stand right here and watch when they move. So as soon as they move around the corner, I'm going to grab the bag. I'm going to run. I'm going to get up out of there and I'm going to go to the nearest house, steal me a car right quick and get up out the neighborhood because I ain't want to be walking and they riding around the neighborhood because they already was saying that person had to be in the house or around the neighborhood. They ain't get that far. So I ain't want to be walking with the bag and they round back round and see me walking with the bag. So bam, I'm looking at the little cut and I'm standing there watching them and I go back to my little hiding spot. Then I come back and I look at the little cut and everything to make sure, trying to make sure you know, rather not they out there so I can know how to move. So I'm looking at them. So then I see the car start backing up, you know, so I was looking. And when it got out of sight, y'all, I grabbed the bag right quick, pulled the door up. Then I went to the edge of the driveway. Look, it was clear. There was this house across from me. It had a Cadillac, and the other one over there next to it had a Jeep Cherokee. So I just ran across there right quick. I popped that Cadillac, got up in there, threw the bag on the passenger side, stole it right quick. As I'm pulling out in the car, the blue car coming back round. So the blue car, when I'm trying to back out, the blue car right there. So I'm like, oh, hell nah, they trying to block me in. But I'm like, nah, they can't be trying to block me in because they don't even know who in the car because the Cadillac got tinted windows. So, you know, the car, like I'm trying to back out, but the blue car right here, so I can't get out. So they just sitting there. So my mind was like, okay, just whip it around the grass and go across the other person, the neighbor's yard, and go around them. I didn't want to go on that chase like that because these dudes had guns. So if I would have made the wrong move, like I was trying to get away, they would have known it was me. They would have figured that out. So I just sat there in the car and everything while they was behind me, like sitting here. I just sat in the car and they didn't really see me trying to pull out. When I started pulling out, I saw them pulling up. I put the car in park and I sat there. So they really didn't see the car trying to move, or maybe they did, but they put their car right there and they would not move that car for about 10 minutes. Now I'm sitting in a stolen car. I don't know how this is about to turn out, but I don't want to make no false moves, man, because these dudes already got guns. So I'm sitting there like, oh man. Finally, I guess they was just staking out the area and everything, trying to see if they see somebody moving or somebody in the area, somebody coming out. So they did a little round again, and they rounded the corner. As I pulled out, started driving real slow. They went that way, I went this way. I didn't think I'd make it out of there that day. Man, I thought I was gonna lose my life, man. But I took the money, drove to like a Winn-Dixie area, dumped the bag out, started counting the money and everything, man. You know, it was over about 12 grand. I stopped counting after that and just put it in the bag. I went and gave half of it to my folks, you know, gave my friends some. But yeah, man, I thought I'd lose my life that day. I just want to share that story with y'all. Y'all stay tuned for the next story, man. I got some more for you here. Y'all be blessed now.